Zhao Luo, also known as the Asian Great Gatsby, is the center of this book, Billion Dollar Whale. He is originally from Georgetown, Malaysia. His grandfather, Lau Men-suk, was a businessman who was from China. He had interest in ore mining and liquid distilleries in Thailand in the 60s and 70s, and real estate business in Malaysia. Zhao Lao's father, Tan Sri, founded an investment holding company, MWB Holdings, that allowed him to build up a great fortune. This wealth allowed Zhao to attend prestigious boarding schools in London such as the Harrow School, where he became surrounded by the world's elite children. This was Lao's time being surrounded by the world's wealthiest people. In the book describes how Zhao Lao was amazed by being surrounded by the world's top 1%. He tried to convince many of the people that he went to school with that he was just as wealthy as they were, if not more. After attending a prestigious high school in London, he went on to study at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Here, he would take his monthly deposits from his father and host outrageous parties around Philadelphia and on the campus of UPenn. He would try to entertain the students and convince them that he was one of the wealthiest people in the world. While visiting Abu Dhabi, he would end up making connections to someone that has changed his life forever in the business world, Yusuf al-Otaiba. With little to no experience in the business world at all, Lau would convince Otaiba to become an investor in the Malaysian economy, and they become eventual business partners. And with their partnership, Otaiba would open up doors in Abu Dhabi to Lau. Lau would also end up developing relationships with the Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister Najib Razak and his wife Rosmah Mansor. He would also develop a close relationship with Najib Razak's former stepson Riza Aziz. Lau befriended Rosa Mansor as he knew that his way to power in Malaysia ran through her. He set about buying expensive gifts and other luxuries to earn her trust to make his way into power in Malaysia. The book also talks about how in 2009 Najib became Malaysia's prime minister, and Lau persuaded him to set up a sovereign wealth fund known as One Malaysia Development Berhad, and in short term, which is One MBD. Najib saw it as a way to modernize Malaysia and to bolster the country images with allies such as President Barack Obama. Though Zhao Lao didn't have a formal role at One MBD, he made all the major decisions, working through proxies. In the fall of 2009, One MBD invested $1 billion in a joint venture with Petro Saudi International, co-owned by Prince Turki Abdullah Al Saud, a son of a Saudi Arabian king. The premise of this was to invest in oil exploration, but instead hundreds of millions of One MBD's money was moved to a shell company in the Seychelles controlled by Zhao Luo. One of Lau's co-conspirators was Patrick Mahoney, a former Goldman Sachs banker who was a Petro Saudi director of investment. He helped Lau structure the deal with One MBD. Kadeem Al-Kusabi was the managing director of the International Petroleum Investment Company and became a close ally of Zhao Luo. Al-Kusabi agreed for IPIC to guarantee $3.5 billion in bonds that the One MBD fund was issuing via Goldman Sachs to fund the purchase of power plants. This turned out to be a plan for Lau and Al-Kusabi to fund billions of dollars more out of One MBD. Another co-conspirator of Lau was Goldman Sachs banker Tim Leissner, who got to know Lau in 2009, and in 2012 and 2013, Goldman netted nearly $600 million by selling 3 bonds for the One MBD fund. Leissner was paid millions in bonuses. Lau's luxurious lifestyle continued after he continued to funnel money out of One MBD. He spent $35 million he took from the company to purchase a Bombardier Global 5000 private jet. Due to his ever-growing wealth and status, he became friends with hip-hop producer Swizz Beatz, Busta Rhymes, Kanye West, partied with Gigi Hadid, and Paris Hilton. With the money he funneled out of 1MBD, Lau financed Red Granite Pictures, a production company founded by Reza Aziz, the stepson of Prime Minister of Najib, and Joey McFarlane. One of the films produced by the Red Granite Company was The Wolf of Wall Street. And through the production of this movie, he became close with the movie star, Leonardo DiCaprio. He invited him to parties and presented him with luxurious gifts. Now, after he had gained massive wealth and status, he began accumulating properties across the world. He bought a townhouse in one of London's richest neighborhoods, a $30.5 million penthouse in New York's Times Warner Center, and a $250 million yacht that could accommodate 26 guests. In 2015, events would take place in Malaysia that would ultimately damage Lau's scandal with 1MBD. The publisher of The Edge, a Malaysian weekly, Ho K Tat, drove the early coverage of the 1MBD scandal. The Edge, along with the Sarawak Report, got a hold of the Petro-Saudi documents from Xavier Justo and published a series of damning stories against Zhao Lao. In June of 2015, Thai police arrested co-conspirator of Zhao Lao, Xavier Justo, on charges of attempting to blackmail Petro-Saudi. Back in Malaysia, more events started to occur. Prime Minister Najib's regime sparked protest from ordinary Malaysians. A group known as Bersih, Malay word for clean, organized large demonstrations in 2015 and early 2016 calling for Najib to step down. They are outraged over the 1MBD scandal, and protesters held up caricatures of Aziz Aziz, Rosa Mansour, Najib, and Zhao Lao. In July of 2016, the U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch announced that the Justice Department was moving forward seeking to seize $1 billion in assets bought with money stolen from 1MBD. The assets included Lau's Time Warner Center apartment, proceeds from Wolf of Wall Street, and other properties that he used money from 1MBD to buy. Since the charges have been handed out against several of his co-conspirators, Lau has removed himself from the situation and left Malaysia. He denies all charges against him and is outraged by the publishing of his book.